Hi guys. Hi. My name is Quick Tacos. We'll be reviewing anime. Alright, this first review will be about the anime Shin Sekai Yori from the New World. The review will have 3 parts. In the first, I will give you a short list of the facts about the anime, such as the original source, if it was a manga or if it was a game or a light novel, for example. Next, we'll talk about 5 categories. These will be animation, voice acting, soundtrack, the characters, and the story. Each of these will be given a score. And lastly, I will be giving it a composite score, and then it will go into a genre chart. My intent with these reviews is to leverage the effort that actually went into making the series. They worked from the animators, from the editors, from the drawers, from anyone involved in the project, and recognize that effort. I mean, after all, these are people working on things they're passionate about. They're people like us. And I think this recognition many times falls short and goes unnoticed. I have something in my glass there now. Alright, back to Shin Sekai Yori. Let's get right into it. So first, the facts. This anime has 25 episodes. Each episode will run about 22 minutes long. There are no OVAs, there are no sequels, and there are no prequels to this anime. It was released back in 2012 in the fall. The studio in charge was A1 Pictures, and it was produced by Aniplex. And lastly, the original source was a light novel by Yusuke Kishi, which was published back in 2008. So Shin Sekai Yori is set into 1,000 years in the future, in a utopian community where technology has been rendered obsolete, and instead they use the power of Cantus. Cantus is pretty much psychokinesis capable of moving things around and creating things out of imagination and the power of the subconscious. It is a coming-of-age story that goes through the lives of 5 main characters, Saki, Satoru, Shun, Maria, and Mamoru, and the dangers that they face in a fight to discover the truth behind the foundation of their utopian society. Alright, now on to the categories. First, I will talk about the animation. Generally speaking, the shadowing of the characters is non-existent. Therefore, the lighting has no effect during some scenes, especially during nighttime. The proportional anatomy of characters is well done. In addition, a variety of angles are used while animating the story, making good use of cinematics. The color palette is very well combined, and the colors communicate this nostalgic feeling throughout the whole series, and the backgrounds are beautifully designed and diverse. One particular aspect that I really liked about this anime was their fashion sense. The amazing use of unconventional elements such as asymmetrical designs and mixing freshness with modernism, while also keeping the style of Japanese clothes, really caught my attention. However, the animation was not consistent through the series. There were some times that the animation would be very fluid and actionable, while other times it was sloppy and stagnant. Animation gets a 7 out of 10. Alright, next we have soundtrack. The soundtrack chosen for this anime was simply amazing. The emotion evoked from each track reinforced the moment that it was cued for. A wide variety of tracks were used, so it didn't feel too repetitive. Although the main track, Traditional Song of Shadows, was used very often. But this was more to ingrain the emotion into the audience, to remember important plot lines. Finally, there was no opening theme, but the ending theme was memorable and awesome. Soundtrack gets a 10 out of 10. Next we move to voice acting. The voice tone chosen for each character complements their personality really well. Shun has a gentle and cool tone that reflects how smart and perceptive he is, which proves very useful to solve some of the biggest plot lines in the series. Maria has a cheerful, very feminine tone, which complements the emotional awareness that she has for her friends. Satoru has a mischievous but decisive voice tone that influences everyone's judgment in different situations throughout the series. Saki has this soft but resolute tone that complements her compassion and determination in every decision that she makes. Mamoru has a very low and in the background tone which reflects who he is. There are times that he probably doesn't even talk the whole episode. And finally, a side note on Squiller's voice acting, which was the best in the series. His voice tone masterfully adjusted in moments of excitement as well as moments of frustration. Voice acting is a 10 out of 10. Alright, now we move to the characters. Almost every character in the series served a purpose, whether it was to confirm a rumor that the kids had heard somewhere or to exemplify a point in the plot. A character's presence never felt too pointless. Except for pretty much everyone in the ethics committee, which is one of the figures of authority in the series, as well as other side characters during the war arc that happens later in the anime. Even one of the characters considered to be among the most powerful Cantus users doesn't have that much of an influence during this arc. The main characters, however, they all followed through their initial core traits and didn't deviate much from that to become a completely different character, nor did they develop any sudden traits out of nowhere without justification through the plot. The way the plot progressed as they aged showed how being mature changed their way of thinking too. Finally, another shout out to Squiller, whose character development was one of the best in the series. He played a central part in the anime and he also embodied the central idea of the plot. Characters get an 8 out of 10. Finally, we have the story. The story doesn't begin to truly unfold until episode 3 or 4, when they find this small animal called the false Minoshiro, which seems to have evolved from sea slugs. This Minoshiro is actually a library that contains a lot of old information and facts not revealed to the kids. Remember, they don't have technology and therefore they don't have internet. If you're not invested by episode 4 or intrigued by the concept of the anime, my recommendation would be to not watch it. The whole series after this episode is pretty much every plot decision and complication based on the knowledge gained from the false Minoshiro. But if you're interested or invested in this concept, then you will enjoy the dark morals surrounding this so-called utopia. It is one of an unseen betrayal and great revelation, one of strong friendship bonds and manipulation driven by fear. The story has many plot points that raise a lot of questions, but the show does a really good job at answering them, either by providing an example or implementing direct consequences of each point in each episode. However, there are some minor plot holes in the story, such as how do the Quirats know English? The Quirats are these little animals that people use for chores and farming and whatnot, so it's not like they're educated in any way. There is also mention of neighboring villages, but help never came during the war arc that I mentioned earlier. So if we do a quick search for Utopia, we see that utopia means an imagined place or state of things in which everything is perfect. Not so perfect after all, huh? And lastly, there's also an episode where they discuss the origin of Cantus, but that's also never finished. However, the ending is very well justified through everything that happened during the story and leaves a satisfied feeling. The story touches on topics such as punishment, extermination, and life preservation. Yet, the methods by which these are executed are far from the ideal peace that a utopia would have. This leaves an opportunity to reflect on our own human morals and where they came from, and if they are even the correct ones. Overall, the story gets a 9 out of 10. Alright, if we average the scores from all the categories, we get a 8.8 out of 10. Which makes Shin Sekai Yori a very good anime. This will go into both the fantasy and mystery categories. Bonus fact. Did you know a false Minashiro has 890 petabytes of storage? Petabytes? Which is 890,000 terabytes of storage, which is a whopping 890 million gigabytes. NANI? Alright guys, I hope you liked this video. Please leave any comment with any feedback for me to improve on. I really had a great time making this content and hope there's much more to come. I made this review about Shin Sekai Yori because it's actually my favorite anime of all time, and I thought it was a great place to start. Alright guys, that's all I have. I hope to see you on the next video. See ya!